Great to have you with us. And Cal is a dominating team. They've won 12 consecutive national championships. Air Force pretty good, though, and it's going to be tough for Cal to get to the final and play the winner of the other game, Harvard, which was surprising. Now the question is, can Air Force pull off another surprising victory? And Becky Worley joins us, our expert analyst, a former member of the U.S. national team. And boy, Cal just never loses. This is a team that's like the Yankees of rugby. How does Air Force even begin to think about beating them?
Well, you know, Cal is a dynasty. They have the best offense in the country right now. But I'll tell you what, Air Force, in my opinion, has the best defense in the country. That's why this is going to be a fantastic matchup. Some interesting tactical moves from Coach Jack Clark of Cal. He is not starting Mike McDonald, who is his best prop and a starting U.S. prop on the national team. Also, Joel DeGiorgio, their scrum half. This is like a quarterback in rugby. Those two absences may be that Jack Clark is trying to conserve those players, but you wonder if that's not going to come back and bite them in the butt.
So Air Force and Cal, if Air Force can get off to a good start, well, maybe they might be thinking upset as we have the championships of college rugby. Cal, #1 in the country, against #4 Air Force, coming up next on College Sports Television. Priority on the sidelines, and Cal will be in the blue and gold, Air Force in the blue and white. And it should be a great matchup as Cal, winners of 12 consecutive national championships, has this lineup.
Forward pack, a very impressive forward pack, specifically Mate Keofahenge player, but also I really just want to practice saying his name. Looking at the backs, you have a lot of All-Americans back here, but also a lot of hurt players, folks not showing up, specifically Kyle Kasijian not in the lineup today. And it'll be an interesting to see how Berkeley responds to some hurt Bears not there.
And head coach Jack Clark, in his 18th year, his teams have never lost in the semifinals. They've won 19 of the last 23 championships. Air Force comes in 10-1-1 this year. And here is the lineup for the Zoomies.
Looking at props, Joseph Reisdiesel, Sean Hansen, strong front row. You can expect to have a lot of scrummaging here. Definitely a forward pack to be reckoned with. The backs, looking for speed, looking for fitness from Air Force. Whenever you talk about an Air Force team, you know it's going to be conditioning.
And it's the 12th trip to the semifinal since 1980 for Air Force. Head coach Rob Holder, a 1989 Army graduate, but now at Air Force.
15 players on each side in rugby. That's the rules. 2 halves, 40 minutes running time each, although there is injury time, and that's up to the discretion of the referee. No forward passing, only running forward, kicking forward, passing backwards or laterally. In rugby, we call it a try, but you familiar with football might call it a touch.
Well, they've been playing rugby since 1882 in Berkeley, and Air Force will kick it off to the Golden Bears of Cal. Now, how intimidating are the Bears? Well, a couple of years ago, Stanford, their coach Frank Boivert, decided to forfeit a game against Cal rather than risk injury to his players.
You know, Frank took a lot of heat for that, and when I think if you look back at the decision he made, it's not unusual. This is unusual.
A breakaway from McKinney, and he is in for the try. What a run by Mike McKinney.
There are things you expect in a rugby game against Cal. The opposing team scoring in the first 90 seconds is not one of the things you expect in a game against Cal.
40 seconds in.
You can see the look on Jack Clark's face there. That's not a happy Jack Clark.
So Mike McKinney out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, shocks the fans here at Stanford.
A beautiful pass, creating space, looking for opportunities. And what happens is McKinney just takes a step inside. We just had a couple minutes of rain and the grass is slick. The Cal defender lost his footing, and it was the cut back that really sprung McKinney. It was beautiful.
Now the 2-point conversion by who else but Mike McKinney, who scored the try. Looking to make it 7-0. And here it is. It is no good. Wide right. Little Linda Ronstadt flew by you. Well, you have to wonder, Becky, Cal, as we mentioned, winning 12 consecutive national championships, and you know that they had to talk about whether or not they were overconfident. Matthew Sherman talked about it.
Each year's different, so this championship's different from the last 12. And you know, we never underestimate an opponent. We look at all their strengths and we try and counter those strengths. I mean, we're confident in our own abilities, but we never look.
That's going to lead to a counter.
It's interesting when you look at Air Force. They have no players in their starting 15 that played rugby before college. So it was all new to every player in the starting lineup. And quite a hit there that has left Mark Ward on the field hurting.
You know, one of the things that is pertinent to that and that play, you can't teach aggression. So people who come, players who come, athletes that come with aggression, doesn't matter if they use their aggression to play squash or badminton. It's about aggression and hits. Down low, squares him up, shoulder into his quad, boom, see ya, good night, ball goes back.
Mark Ward on the hit of Ryan Donnelly. That was a solid shot.
Those kind of hits are not only intimidating, but there you can see some.
And this will be Cal now on the line out.
I actually think he's calling that.
Oh no, it's actually going to be Air Force on the line out. And that pass intercepted.
Hands off, rock ball. No, stay on your feet, Blue.
Now it's really getting physical in there. And Cal breaking out. Oh, a low hit.
That was a risky tackle that paid off.
Nice tackle by Mark Ward, who is a first-year rugby player, but he's been in the middle of just about everything so far in this game.
You can see Ward just coming up, getting low, and putting Ryan Donnelly right down to the ground. If Donnelly had gotten that ball off a second earlier, Ward's aggression would have been a mistake.
With a try for Cal. That gave the Bears the lead, but then a 3 by McKinney gave Air Force the lead back.
You see how quickly Cal transitions from tackling to looking for the poach. They have one man to the tackle, the next two into the ruck are trying to poach that ball, pick it up, and create a transition. And a turnover for Cal. Unlucky that time, but that's work that pays off in the end.
Hands off, rock ball. There you go, that's up.
Tackle there by Ryan Donnelly of Cal.
That was up, that was up.
Now the Bears fight forward.
Good job, back foot, guys.
And it's shoveled back. And they whip it across the field. Some daylight. Oh, what a hit. Wow. But the defender is shaken up and going the other way. Dean headed for the try zone. He scores. Josh Dean puts 5 points on the board for Air Force. And one of the Air Force players is really hurt after a vicious collision.
That was one of the bigger hits I think I've ever seen. He got down low, he hit him hard enough such that the Cal player coughed the ball right up. And I'll tell you what, there has been no movement from that defender. He is solid. He was either out cold or he just scared himself.
Well, watch this. Wham! I mean, he came in.
I can't even quite tell who that was, but I'm telling you what, that is a low ball. Those are the kind of hits that cause an offensive player to lose control of the ball in a way that creates an opportunity, an immediate transition for Air Force, which they capitalized on. The question is, what was the cost here?
Josh Dean from Juneau, Alaska, a junior, scoring the try. Not sure who is shaken up there. We're trying to find out exactly who it is, but well, he came in at a terrific rate of speed, and we have to hope that he's going to be all right. This is in slow motion. It still is going to look fast. I mean, it's very dangerous when you lead with your head, whether you're playing football or rugby.
I think that's Mark Ward. I'm truly concerned about him, and I'll tell you why. From the position he went into that hit on, his head was on the wrong side of the player. If he had kept his head towards us, as you saw that picture, if he'd kept his head on one side of the leg, it would have been safe, but really he put his head right into the legs of the Cal player.
And we talked about how he's made some great tackles, and he certainly is a fearless young man out of Alamo, California, and now he's starting to move, which is a real good sign after seeing the way he went in on that tackle.
I have to tell you that this game can be scary at times. There are things that happen at incredible velocity, and there's confrontations and collisions that scare you.
Well, hopefully Mark Ward will be okay, and while they work on him, we're going to take a timeout. Air Force leading Cal 13-7 in the first half.
Do you ever get the feeling? Oh,
You didn't, maybe? I don't know. But it was really cool.
Air Force leading Cal 13-7.